Good morning, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thank you for tuning in. I want to remind you that Peak of the Market is on Twitter. Please follow us at Peak of the Market for recipes and Food and Friends guest updates. We have over 215,000 Twitter followers, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we're at Peak of the Market, or you can follow me at Larry McIntosh. My guest this morning is Marilyn Peckett, Manitoba Field Unit Supervisor for Parks Canada. Good morning, Marilyn.
Good morning, Larry. Thanks for your invite.
How you doing?
Very, very well. It's a busy time of the year.
I
But
can imagine. But you're probably busy year-round, though, because parks don't close in the wintertime.
Well, our places around Winnipeg are, of course, not like Lower Fort Garry and Riel House, and those places are closed in the wintertime.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah, but the Forks is open, but our sites, we have an adventure park there that kids can still play on, all seasons of the year.
So tell us, the Manitoba Field Unit Supervisor, that means you take care of all the Parks Canada properties, so to speak, in Manitoba?
Mm-hmm. Well, the correct title is actually superintendent.
Superintendent,
Yes,
okay.
That's all right.
That's what my note says here, actually.
That's right. Just ad-lib anything you like.
Didn't say that, but okay.
And so what that means, I'm responsible for the integrated delivery and operation of all of our sites that we have in Manitoba. And I'm responsible for everything Parks Canada has except for Riding Mountain National Park, because it's large enough with the community and that it's its own management unit.
Okay.
But for me, I'm responsible for places like in the north. There's a couple of National Historic Sites you may have heard of, York Factory and Prince of Wales Forts and Wapask National Park. And down in the south, most notably Lower Fort Garry, the Forks. We have some property at the Forks along the Red River, and Riel House, National Historic Sites. And from that perspective, Parks Canada's mandate is to protect and present our cultural and natural treasures on behalf of all Canadians.
So before we started the show this morning, I admitted to you I've never been to Lower Fort Garry. And I know everybody's been there, right? But I'm not from here originally. A lot of kids go there during classes, and lots of people go there all the time. But I know Shelley's been there multiple times, but I've never been there.
Well, you would love it. I mean, the beautiful stone fort that's there, it was actually, there's a lot of firsts in Manitoba that took place at that site. It was the place where Treaty Number 1 was signed, the first of the numbered treaties that helped to open up the West to settlement. As well, it was also a Hudson Bay post, and so a supply and distribution center. And part of the first there, it was our province's first asylum and first penitentiary.
Really?
And as well, the first training base for the Northwest Mounted Police. And so if you come out there on any given day over the summertime, you're going to see beautiful grounds, historic buildings that are there. We have staff that are dressed in heritage clothing. We have a great restaurant and a gift shop that the Friends of Lower Fort Garry run with us. And it's a beautiful place. And you're not alone in sort of, I don't know whether people have perimeteritis, but really it's 15 minutes north of the perimeter up Main Street. It's not a far drive, and it's a beautiful place to go. We have special programming there and things. You're going to love it.
And for the record, I get outside the perimeter a lot, but I tend to be going somewhere, so I've driven by it many times, never have stopped. So we'll have to do that. Now, what is the one up in Churchill? It's a fort.
Right. That's Fort Prince of Wales.
Prince
you
of
can
Wales,
see
thank
it
you.
from Churchill across the Churchill River. And that's a beautiful place as well. It's actually the northernmost stone fort in all of North America. And it's a stone fortress. It was built by the Hudson Bay Company to protect its operation and cargo ships. There's a few pieces associated with that National Historic Site. There's the fort itself across the river. There is Cape Mary, Cape Mary Battery. So it's where they were keeping their munitions and things like that. It's a strategic point at the mouth of the Churchill River. And then across, there's also Sloop Cove, which was in the 18th century. That's where they would overwinter their ships. And at both of those places, at Sloop Cove and at the Prince of Wales Fort proper, you can see where people have actually carved their name, like Samuel Hearn, July 1st, 1670. Like, honestly, like I'm getting like goosebumps just thinking about what you can see when you're up there. It's just magical.
Now, would it surprise you to know that I've never been to Lower Fort Garry, but I have been to the one in Churchill?
You have not.
I have.
Oh my God.
I've been
Really?
there. Yes.
Well, that's great. Good for you.
Not the one close, but the one that's far away.
Well, Churchill's a magical place for so many reasons. Did you happen to get out to Wapas National Park while you were there then?
We did not. Come on, I was
Okay.
doing pretty well there. I remember we took the boat across. They met us there because they're worried. They take up to the fort. They're worried about polar bears, so they're on the
For
watch for
sure.
that, which I thought was very neat. There was people doing archaeological. Is that the right word?
That's right.
Why we were there, which was kind of neat to watch them. So
Well,
it's a great place.
And so we were probably doing some work because we were doing some restoration work on the fort at that time, probably when you had the archaeologists there that you saw. But now we actually have a program, and it's running in the end of July, July 30th to August 6th. It's called Hands on History, and it's about a $2,000 program. But for 1 week, you get to work under an actual archaeologist and participate yourself as an archaeologist and work there at the fort, as well as you'll stay out at the Churchill Northern Studies Center. You get to go on beluga whale tours. And honestly, that is really a trip of a lifetime. That's a bucket list trip for many, many people.
We'll be right back with Marilyn Peckett from Parks Canada after we take this break for your weather update. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. I hope you've had a chance to see Peak of the Market's Sesame Street potato bags featuring 9 different Sesame Street characters. There's Elmo, there's Big Bird, Grover, Oscar, Abby Cadabby, Rosetta, Cookie Monster, Bert, and Ernie. Along with the characters, you'll still see the Peak of the Market logo, so you are guaranteed it is grown right here in Manitoba. In Manitoba grown Peak of the Market red and russet potatoes are available right now, so if you don't see them at your local store, please ask the manager where they're hiding. We're very pleased to partner with Sesame Street on the Eat Brighter program. The Sesame Street Eat Brighter program is all about encouraging children and adults to eat more fruits and vegetables. We're back with Marilyn Peckett, Manitoba Field Unit Superintendent from Parks Canada. So we're just talking off air during the break there. Riel House, is that what you were talking?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. Again, I haven't been there, so describe it to me.
Well, Riel House is a small site that we have. When you think of Parks Canada sites, sometimes you don't, think about some of the teenier places, and Riel House is one of those, and it's the place where Louis Riel is honored and commemorated, as well as the place where we commemorate and showcase the Métis river lot system, which was really a form of prairie settlement. And so there's the house is there. There's a big garden and a small kitchen garden. And really, when you go there, you're going to see, it feels like, I like to think of, welcome home. And the house itself is staged to the time just after Louis Riel's death, because his body came and laid in state there before they buried it. So it's sort of frozen at that point in time, and you see the kind of furnishings that would have been there and the different things. But I'm really pleased to say that we partner with the Louis Riel Institute, which is a charitable nonprofit organization that promotes the educational and cultural advancement of Métis people, and it's a wing of the Manitoba Métis Federation. And there they have the Louis Riel Institute interpreters on site. So while our staff is there to welcome and greet and sort of orient people, well, the Louis Riel Institute have their own interpreters there. These are Métis, French-speaking people. So the site just comes alive with their interpreters. They're in period costume. They offer guided tours. And as well, they organize special events and workshops. And really, what's being a big hit in the neighborhood is on Thursday nights, they hold musical soirees. So they used to do that at the MMF offices down on Henry Street on Wednesday night. And then once we got into partnership with them, they moved those soirees from Wednesday to Thursday night on site at Riel House. The neighbors love it. The neighborhood kind of comes alive. And it's just wonderful to see people there being welcomed and enjoying the various crafts and activities that are there. And this year, one of the changes that we're making is we're moving to, rather than closing at 5 o'clock, which was our normal time, we're going to stay open on Wednesday nights till 8 o'clock. And that should hopefully encourage people that work during the day and, be able to bring their families out at night.
So is this just open during the summer? Is that what it's open?
Yes, it's open July and August through to the September Labor Day weekend.
Okay, so got to do it this summer. So it's not open for Louis Riel Day?
No. Well, right now, during...
It should be. It's a celebration.
Well, I know. We can do
I know
things
it's a totally different month. I get that.
Yeah, I get it. But no, during May and
Yes.
June, the Louis Riel Institute have a license of occupation. They do school programming there.
Okay.
So they welcome school groups and teach them about Louis Riel and about the Métis history at the site. So that's honestly, it's been a great partnership with us. We kind of finish up the year with a corn roast commemoration day, usually the last or second last weekend of August. So people put it on your
Once Manitoba
calendars.
corn's available, I assume.
Absolutely. It's a great time had by all.
That sounds like a great place. So where's it located?
It's Upriver Road. So if you go to Bishop Grandin and head Upriver Road, well, I guess down River Road, Upriver Road to the south. And it'll be on your right-hand side, not far south of Bishop Grandin.
And it's open to the public July and August?
July and August.
Okay, so
yeah,
it's coming
and
up soon.
to Labor Day weekend.
Fantastic. So that sounds like a really neat place and a great partnership. That's great to see when two organizations get together and can make it that much better.
It always makes things better because everybody brings their individual strengths, and together you create these synergies. And it's been a really strong partnership. And it was the St. Boniface Museum that ran the place on behalf of Parks Canada from the time Parks Canada got the site, and but then our staff were never there with their uniforms. So I'm really proud, and neighbors like to see our Parks Canada people there in our uniforms, and they certainly are enjoying the Thursday evening soirees and bringing their visiting relatives and things to the site.
And we're all busy day to day, and that's why we don't get out to visit as many things as we want. But there's so many pieces of history that are in our own neighborhoods that we don't necessarily realize are so close to home that we got to spend some time and reflect on where we've come from.
Well, that's one of the things that Parks Canada does, is give a future to our history. And we're very proud. We have very passionate professional staff. And honestly, we love what we're doing. We might be extremely busy and, running all over and doing what we can do on a given day to try and help visitors to have a wonderful experience at our place. But even on those days where it's really hectic and almost too much, we still bring that passion to the work we do.
We'll be right back with Marilyn Peckett from Parks Canada after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. I'm Larry McIntosh. I want to remind you that today is Recipe of the Day at peakmarket.com, and in your Winnipeg Free Press is spinach lasagna. Now that sounds good. Spinach lasagna is today's Recipe of the Day in the Winnipeg Free Press and at peakmarket.com. And both the Free Press and our website have a new recipe every day, 7 days a week. Please check them out. We're back with Marilyn Peckett from Parks Canada. So, I was involved years ago seeing the original plans for the Variety Heritage Adventure Park. And we were just saying off air, it's been coming up to 3 years. Is that right?
That's right. We're having the third birthday party or commemoration on the 27th of June. So that'll be on a Saturday. And if you come out about 2 o'clock or any time that day, really, kids are playing on that equipment and the splash pad at all different times. But on the 27th, about 2 o'clock, Jerry Maslowski from Variety the Children's Charity and I will be out there handing out a few little goodies for kids. And I'd just like to also say that this Friday, we're kind of having a soft opening of the Adventure Store, the Parks Canada Adventure Store. We're going to be selling water and different things. It's hard for young families to get away and go get an ice cream or water from that place. So that's something that we're going to be opening and trying out. And it's a new little amenity for people to enjoy there.
So the Variety Heritage Adventure Park, it's had great reviews. It's accessible by all kids. What's your favorite part of it?
Oh, my favorite part has to be, I know it sounds kind of funny, but it's the French Quarter, and it's a big panel, and it looks like you're actually living in St. Boniface. It's a beautiful little spot, but there's lots of fun parts to it. 6,000 years of history in 7 different zones. Kids love it.
We'll be right back with Marilyn Peckett from Parks Canada after we take this break for your news, sports, and weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. Since it is the first day of summer tomorrow, I thought I'd let you know what peak of the market crops will be available soon. By the end of next week, Manitoba-grown kale and zucchini will be in your local stores. And then by mid-July, we'll have green, red, and Savoy cabbage, cauliflower, cucumbers, and leeks. So very shortly, kale and zucchini, and then mid-July, green, red, and Savoy cabbage, cauliflower, cucumbers, and leeks. So it's great to see this. And of course, we have Manitoba-grown red potatoes that are available year-round. So that's in your stores right now. It's a very exciting time of year as we wait to see the Manitoba-grown new crops be harvested, and they'll be in their stores soon. We're back with Marilyn Peckett, Manitoba Field Unit Superintendent for Parks Canada. So I'm just talking about Manitoba-grown vegetables. Summer's here. Do you have special events during the summers? Can you tell us about some of them?
Well, we have quite a few sites, so we're trying to do some things at the various ones, and I'll tell you about a couple of them. Sure. For example, I mentioned that Lower Fort Garry was the site where Treaty Number 1 was signed. So on August 3rd, every year we do a commemoration. And this year, on August 3rd, to commemorate the signing of the treaty, we're having a full-scale powwow there. So I really invite people out to enjoy that. It's a different form of entertainment for us out at that site as well. Then of course, on Canada Day, I kind of move from site to site. I start at Riel House, and then I head to the Forks, and then I head out to Lower Fort Garry on Canada Day. And, we do some different things, handing out cookies or different things, and usually finish up with giving out cake at Lower Fort Garry. That's always a fun
That's a busy day for you.
It is, but Canada Day is a beautiful day for us at Parks Canada. And this year, it's Canada's 148th birthday on Wednesday, July 1st. And entry to the parks and sites is free. So you can enjoy one of Canada's national treasures. It's not going to cost you anything, and you're going to have some fun. And this year, I should also mention, we're celebrating 50 years of our Canada flag. We had a snow sculpture at the Forks to commemorate that back in February. And a special program that we're doing, I'd like to share with you, is called the We'll Meet Again program.
Okay.
And that's going to take place at Lower Fort Garry on July 26th. And it's really to help us to commemorate Canada's role in both of the world wars. We're encouraging people to bring their treasured family heirlooms from the world wars and meet with military history experts and Parks Canada conservators. And you're going to learn about your treasures and how to preserve them. We're also going to have some historic media vehicles and other exciting activities. So the vehicles are going to be from the First and Second World Wars, and they're going to be on display on the grounds. You're going to meet the owners and learn about their history. They're coming from CFB Shiloh, as well as members of the heritage group Prairie Command. And you can try your hand at relaying battle strategies via ham radio. There's going to be a fashion show to see the changing fashions that were brought about by the women's wartime role. I think that'll be fascinating. And there's going to be some short films about Canada's contribution to the world wars, and as well as refreshments and war era music.
And so where's that again?
That's at Lower Fort Garry. That day, it's still just regular entry fees for that day. It's not special costs, so it's $7.80 for adults, $6.55 for seniors, and $3.90 for youth on July 26th.
July 26th. So mark down your calendar. We got some events coming up. July 26th. And the other one you talked about was August 3rd, if I recall correctly.
That's right.
So that's fantastic.
That's right. And we're going to be participating this weekend, the 20th of June, with National Aboriginal Day Live with APTN. Parks Canada will have a booth there, as it usually does. We'll be doing some programming and things for kids. I believe we'll have our big inflatable beaver there. People love to take pictures and Twitter that out and on their Facebook. Like, it's huge. It's a big beaver.
So after you listen to the show later on today, you can head down there and meet the big beaver.
Yes, that's right.
Does he have a name? Or she have a name?
well, that one's the big inflatable beaver.
Bib inflatable beaver.
Yes.
That's catchy.
I know. We call her Bib.
Oh, there you go. I knew it was
Big inflatable beaver. But I believe our mascot, Parka, she'll be out there as well, wandering around. Look for her. Kids love her.
That's great. So you have so much going on throughout the province. How do you get everywhere?
Well, I try and plan. I work with my staff up in Churchill, and so I try and get up there about 4 times a year. And it's important, not just for special things, but to just go and work out of that office. Trying to maintain those personal connections. It's important.
Absolutely.
I also work out of Lower Fort Garry. I try and get out there once a week and work 1 day a week out there. And I do spend a lot of time in my Winnipeg office. We're on McDermott Avenue and close to the Forks, and I spend far too much time in front of my computer.
As we all do.
I think so.
Yeah, as we all do. So what is your favorite part about your job?
Well, I'll tell you. There's 2 things I love about my job. One is the variety. Within 10 minutes, I might be working on 3 different things. So I love that things are fast-paced. Some people don't like change. I love change because I get bored very easily. Are we almost done? No.
Very good.
No. So that's one thing. It's just the variety and diversity of it. The other thing is, just watching as a team, our staff working together from the planning portions, maybe working with partners and pulling together these kinds of events like the one I just mentioned about We'll Meet Again, and to be able to go out on site and know that we've watched it, like the Variety Heritage Adventure Park, from, concept to plan to delivery and implementation to the smiles and just watching people. It's honestly, that for me, that's just the big joy.
We're speaking with Marilyn Peckett from Parks Canada. Be right back after this break. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. Food and Friends Radio is on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on Mytoba.ca later today. So if you want to see the TV version of this or previous radio shows, please visit Mytoba.ca. Thanks to 680 CJOB's Nicole, who produces our show, and Riley, who operates the camera, as well as the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at Tech Vaughn High School. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com and at the iTunes Store. So just do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at Mytoba.ca or SoundCloud.com or at the iTunes Store, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. It's very important for you to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers. So please make sure you tune in right here every Saturday morning at 8 or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Marilyn Peckett, Manitoba Field Unit Superintendent for Parks Canada. So we're talking about a lot of things that are happening in the greater southern part of the province, let's put it that way. What about the north? We talked a little bit about the Prince of Wales Fort that Shelley and I were at last summer. What else is going on in the north? What can we experience up there?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you were going to visit Wapas National Park, for example, you could either fly in by helicopter or you could go in with Frontiers North Adventures or Watchie Expedition to go and see the polar bears. With Frontiers North, it would to see the polar bears as they're waiting to get out on the ice and go back and eat their the ringed seals over the winter. Or if you're going with Watchie Expeditions, then that gives you an opportunity to see mother bears with their cubs just coming out of their dens for the first time. It's really impressive. I've done that. I think one of the very interesting things that's just rolling out right now, as many of you may know, that our Minister of the Environment that's responsible for Parks Canada, her name is Leona Aglukak, and she's from Nunavut. So she has a particular interest in our northern parks and sites that we have. And she really challenged Parks Canada to look at how can we be involving those northern communities more in the work that we do, and also to promote economic development in northern communities. So one of the programs that Parks Canada has launched is something called the Northern Iconic Experience Program. And what that is, it gives people an opportunity to have a really high quality, unique experience, walking people through, maybe it's arranging right from start to finish, high quality experience in a northern park. And so for us, we have something, I'm not sure what the name is. I think it has an actual name, but really the experience is that you will get to go to all 3 of our northern sites. It starts in York Factory National Historic Site, then you'll go into Wapas National Park and finish up at Prince of Wales Fort. You'll get to hike on the open tundra of Wapas National Park and really be swept away by the vastness of the landscape there, the variety of the flora and fauna, and to step back in to the days of the historic fur trade at both of those other National Historic Sites at York Factory and Prince of Wales Fort, when the British traders and the First Nation peoples conducted business on the shores of the Hudson Bay. Learn about their hardships, joys, and triumphs. And there will be also the cultural aspect to that, to working with one of the local First Nations, participating with us. So that is an experience that you will have. I believe it runs July 20th to 24th this year. It's the first time ever, and it is a bit pricey. It's $5,500 per participant, but it really is. It's like a bucket list.
I was going to say that, yeah.
It really is. And when we say it's iconic, right? It's a northern iconic. It's not just sort of one of your regular tours that you're going to do. This is something that we really put a lot of emphasis on, making sure that it's high quality and high value for you.
Now, if someone can afford to do this, it's really a bucket list item, absolutely. But there's not going to be many people that have ever done this. I mean, you're going to be limited audience that's ever done all this kind of a tour, I would think.
Well, that's it. At York Factory, you're going to be staying at both York Factory and Wapas National Park. You're going to be staying at a base camp, and it will have basic services. There will be beds and bathrooms and showers, so it'll be very nice. It's a shared, simple, rustic accommodations. But honestly, like at York Factory, when you stand at the base of that great big white depot building, and there's a huge anchor there. Go on the website and just, type in Parks Canada and York Factory. There's just something magical about standing in front of that huge building. Like it just blows you away. And inside, it's like an ark filled with all these treasures that were from the site. That was a place that shipped out millions of dollars worth of provisions out of it over the years. It welcomed millions of immigrants to Canada as a port center. It was the headquarters for the largest corporate entity that's ever existed. York Factory is just an amazing place. And yeah, it gets probably about maybe 80 people a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Fly in or row, go up the river in a boat or a canoe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got hats off to those people. And there you stay in a fenced compound in both of them because of the threat of polar bears. Right. Yeah.
So this is a once-in-a-lifetime rare opportunity, I would say, that for not many people have done it. So if this is something of interest, you can get that information on the website, I assume.
Yes, well, or they can call the Parks Canada office in Churchill at 204 nowadays.
Right.
204-675-8863.
So if you're interested in getting information, give it a call. Check out the website. It sounds like an incredible trip.
People will love it.
You've done all these things, right?
Well, I've been to all of these places, but they haven't been rolled up like this. And for an individual to get an opportunity to do these kinds of things, it's a rare, unique opportunity.
We're speaking with Marilyn Peckett from Parks Canada, and we're going to take a break for your cottage country weather update. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please join me next Saturday, June 27th already, when my guest will be Peggy May, CEO of Southport. Now, Southport's located just outside of Portage la Prairie and is known for its airport, but it also features aviation and aerospace training facilities, research and development of new products, light and manufacturing, educational institutes, a golf course, and a fitness center. There's lots going out at Southport. We'll hear more about it next Saturday. My guest today has been Marilyn Peckett from Parks Canada. I have to say, you had notes all over the desk. You had so many things going on that you wanted to talk about. You're very excited about what's going on. So this is our last segment. We didn't probably get everything in, but what is the parting words you want to give our listeners?
Well, probably two small things. Number one is I've talked a lot about our various places that we have here, and I'd like you to think about, if you're holding an event, a special event, think about bringing it out to one of our sites. You're going to have a wonderful, one of nation's treasures and a great ambiance, and think about helping. What are you going to do to celebrate Canada's 150th birthday? These national treasures are those kind of places that we're going to be celebrating.
Thank you, Marilyn, for being on Food and Friends.
Thank you, Larry.
Take care, everybody, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.